Hey everyone, I've been collecting a few more parts. I got a Speedway Motors standard 23T body, no floor, about as budget as I could find. I've got a reproduction 32 Ford grille. This you've seen. There's the 6-speed manual from the E34. And I've got a Jaguar independent rear. I'm really excited about the Jaguar rear end. It's a 331 gear, open carrier, which I don't mind because it's going to have the big fat tires on the back and the skinnies on the front, and the car's not going to weigh anything. I think it's from a mid-70s XJ6. I first saw one of these rear ends last January when I went to the Roadkill zip tie drags down in Tucson. It kind of blew my mind. The inboard brakes and the axle acts as the upper control arm. I thought it was pretty cool. When I saw that it was kind of popular to put these rear ends in a T-bucket, and there's even an outfit that makes frames that will bolt up with these rear ends, I'm like, dude, I gotta go for it. When I put the engine together, I tried to do the best I can to measure everything. So the M62 short block had pistons that sat about 25 thousandths above deck. And then I noticed they had a bit of a dish to it, so I measured roughly 4 cc of dish in the pistons. When I got the cylinder heads back from the machine shop, I measured about 52 cc in each chamber. And with the 1.74 mil MLS head gasket, my math comes out to about 9.6 to 1 static compression. With the supercharger, I'm aiming for 8 to 10 pounds of boost. A few of you guys wanted to know more about the Jaguar supercharger on top of the BMW V8. It's pretty straightforward. It's the Jaguar supercharger, intercoolers, injectors, and it's sitting on a milled piece of aluminum that's been machined to bolt down to the BMW heads. The only thing that the installer needs to do is they need to cut away part of the supercharger body so it'll mount on the back plate here. And then you've got to flip the supercharger pulley to line up with the BMW belt drive. If you're not familiar with how the Jaguar supercharger works, this is the inlet. There's a throttle body that usually bolts onto this square flange here. It does a 90-degree into the back of the supercharger. It gets compressed. The top is the outlet, and then it gets split to the left and right intercoolers. And there's a vacuum actuated valve back here that when manifold vacuum is above, I think I measured like 9-inch manifold vacuum, it opens the valve, but as soon as manifold vacuum disappears, the valve closes, and then the boost gets redirected through the intercoolers and then down into the cylinder heads. If I can keep everything happy and keep the intake air temps down, I'm aiming for about 450 horse without the nitrous. I figure for now I'll put it together with the E34 165 mil clutch, and it's got a spec lightweight flywheel. I think I measured that at about 17 pounds, which is way lighter than the 43-pound dual mass flywheel that was originally on there. I figure if I have any problems, if the clutch starts slipping, I'll just cross that bridge when I get there. I think I'm going to need to get creative with the shifter. You can see the E34 shifter comes out way past the tail shaft. And that might be a little too far back in the T-body, but I'll know more when I get it all mounted in a frame. I plugged all the gear ratios in on an online calculator, and with a 30-inch tall rear tire, 75 miles an hour should be at about 2,300 RPM in 6th gear. I'm sure 75 miles an hour sitting in a piece of fiberglass probably feels like 120 miles an hour. Thanks for checking out my progress, and if you'd like to see more updates, please subscribe. See ya.